They do say that there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and I feel like to be a football YouTuber and to do a predictions video, you're going to look stupid, but it's also kind of brave to put your predictions out there, given what the internet can be like sometimes. I've definitely been brave in some of my suggestions and some of my predictions. I've definitely been stupid in a lot of them as well. I'm more than man enough to admit that I got a hell of a lot wrong in my pre-season prediction video, which will be running through today. Some of you guys sent in your suggestions for that video as well, so we'll be looking through a few of the predictions that you had to see if you were right or you were wrong. Not everyone, of course, but some of the people who sent them in last time. Yeah, it's been a mad season. It's not quite over just yet, but enough has finished for me to be able to run through my predictions to see if they were right or wrong. Of course, the Championship's finished pretty much. League 1, League 2, we know who the winners are there. Despite there being a few games left to play, things have pretty much been wrapped up, especially in the Highland, Lowland League as well. A couple of the cups have finished, of course, but we'll be getting into all that in this video. Please smash a like on this video. Please do remember to subscribe if you're new as well, and let's get straight into it. But there are two huge big hitters in the Highland League this season, both starting with B. It's going to be the Battle of the Bees. It's going to be Bonnyrigg, who came down from the SPFL last season. Of course, they finished bottom of League 2 in 2 years running. They are now in the Highland League, but they're a very prestigious, of course, well-supported, massive club now in the Highland League, who I expect to do very, very well. And Bonnyrigg Rangers as well, a team that I've covered a lot in my time. Bonnyrigg, yeah, an amazing club who have won the league twice in the past 2 years without being able to get promoted due to the playoff systems and stuff like that. But yeah, Bonnyrigg are a club that I would love to see in the SPFL. They deserve it for winning the league twice in a row. Imagine winning the league and not getting promoted. They need to make it a little bit more open, but that's, you know, that's talk for another video. But yeah, for this season in the Highland League, it's Bonnyrigg and it's Bonnyrigg. Right, so as we saw from just then, my predictions for the Highland League weren't too far off. Let's just have a quick look at the Highland League table. Here we go. So look, as you would have seen from those clips just then that I showed you from my previous video, which was around 8 months ago now, I did predict Bonnyrigg and Bonnyrigg to be up there. I did say the Battle of the Bees. Little did I know that it was a different bee who would finish above both of them, Bucky Thistle. I went to see them play, funnily enough, this season. When I saw them, I think they were 6th, 7th or 8th, somewhere sort of higher mid-table. I had absolutely no thought in my mind that they'd go and have a title challenge the way they did. I think they ended up winning like 20 games in a row or something mad like that, but they ended up just 3 points off of Fraserburgh, who won the Highland League. The Highland/Lowland playoff has just been played recently, and Bonnyrigg won the first leg 3-1. That was yesterday, the second leg still to be played, but it's looking like Fraserburgh, despite being champions of the Highland League this year, may not even get promoted. I believe that the Lowland League this season will be between East Kilbride and Rangers Colts team. Rangers Colts have won all 3 games so far and they've looked unbelievable. I saw them against Spartans and they dispatched Spartans, who are a well-established Lowland League team. But yeah, I don't think Rangers can go up if they win it. They will of course have the trophy and they'll have the day. But yeah, I think that it'll be between them and East Kilbride. As you would have just seen, the Lowland League. I was this close with the Lowland League. Let's jump into the table and how it looks just now. I obviously predicted East Kilbride and Rangers B to sort of be the two that were sort of challenging, which to be fair, look, 3rd and 4th they came. It still looks like there's a few games left to be played, of course, although Bonnyrigg are confirmed as champions and will play in said playoff against Fraserburgh, as we just said there. But yeah, fair play to Bonnyrigg. I was at their trophy day. They ended up winning the league by a bit of a canter, as you can see. Celtic B have had a good season. Rangers B have had a good season. East Kilbride have had a pretty good season despite a really, really poor start. They were in the League Cup, despite not being a league team. They did actually start off the season in the League Cup, and I think that hindered them. They had a lot more games to play at the start of the season. They had a few injuries. Their form at the start of the year was horrific. A change of manager, and yeah, they've ended up doing really, really well. If they'd have kept this form up for the rest of the season, they could have easily been the team that won the league and were on course to get promoted. I know there's been a huge amount of controversy around the old firm teams being in the Lowland League, and I totally understand why. I personally quite like having them in there. Adds a bit of a grandeur to the league, I guess you could say. But again, I've covered this in loads of videos in the past. I understand why certain teams, especially teams in divisions below, don't want teams buying their way into the Lowland League. I completely get it. But a lot of people at the start of the season were like, oh, it'd be embarrassing if Celtic or Rangers win the league. let me tell you something, being embarrassed isn't the worst feeling in the world. It shows you that something maybe needs changing in your life. I've used this analogy maybe on video before, I'm not sure, but I've certainly had this conversation with people at matches before. If you get a terrible haircut and your mates take the piss out of you for having an awful haircut, you won't get that haircut again. So it teaches you something, you know what I mean? Whereas with the Lowland League, if you have Celtic and Rangers in there and you have them dominating the other clubs, which they haven't done, I'm hastening to add, they haven't completely run away with it, but if they were to, it shows them other teams they've got to do a lot more to be able to compete with them. So I don't think it's all bad having them in there. I think it raises the overall quality of the league, but I think if promotion and relegation was a little bit more open within the leagues anyway, this wouldn't be as much of a big issue. Anyway, we've digressed a little bit from my predictions. Let's move on to League 2. So for me, this is the league to watch this season. You've got Kelty Hearts, of course we've just spoken about Nathan Austin. Whenever Kelty have played this season so far in the League Cup and stuff like that, I'm usually at a game, but I'll check my phone and Kelty are like 2-0 up or whatever, or they've scored a couple of goals in the game, or they've scored 3. And it's literally, when I open the scores, I look at Kelty Hearts, I'm like, right, how many has Nathan Austin scored? He's unbelievable, and he's probably going to be top scorer this year in League 2. If he's not, I would be surprised. He's on fire. He's played for Inverness, Cali Thistle before, who are a championship, premiership sort of level team, so he's unbelievable for that level. He dominated last year in the Lowland League. He's dominating already this year, but yeah, watch out for him this season. But not only Kelty Hearts, you've got Stenhouse Muir, you've got Elgin, you've got Edinburgh City, some really, really big clubs in there who all did well last season as well. Stranraer as well did very well last year. So yeah, look, there's some big sides in League 2, and it could be a really, really exciting league to watch, especially with Queen's Park, who had invested a lot to win that league last season. They're now in League 1, so yeah, gives those teams a chance. But yeah, I can't look past Kelty Hearts, who I think are going to win it. As you would have seen, this is the first prediction that I got right in my pre-season predictions, and look, here we have my brand new Kelty Hearts shirt, which I got at the game yesterday, their trophy day. I got it signed by their captain, Tidza, I think Nathan Austin as well, Alfie Aguiman, I want to say that is, Ross Philp, DJ, and Joe Cardle. I think I only got 6 or 7 of the guys to sign it. I was just like milling around on the pitch at the end of the game, and just as and when I was like chatting to the players and sort of bumped into them, I got them to sign it. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, of them signed it in the end. So yeah, absolutely buzzing. This is actually my favourite like piece of memorabilia I've ever picked up from my time doing YouTube. What an honour it was to be there yesterday, and I think it was pretty easy to call that Kelty were going to do so well. They got promoted, and this was obviously their first ever SPFL season, and they've gone and won the league. They won it weeks ago. They had to wait all this time to get their hands on the trophy. I even, in my prediction video, called that Nathan Austin would be top scorer in the league, which of course he has been, and he's not even played as many games, anywhere near as many games as everyone else. Had quite a few injuries, but he still finished way above everybody else in the top scorers. I don't know how much more you want me to dwell on Kelty. I've not yet been able to show you this incredible signed shirt that I have. I didn't really show it too much in the game because of how much was going on yesterday. But yeah, here it is in all its glory. Absolutely love it. What a piece. I'm so happy to have it, honestly. What a journey it's been following Kelty. I'm sure you're all bored of me talking about them for now. So yeah, let's move on to League 1. But my money with League 1 is with Falkirk. League 1, I'm looking at the table right now, and to be honest, I probably should have been able to call that Cove would do so well. I think I touched on them, as well as like a few other clubs in there when I was looking at the pre-season predictions, but yeah, how could anyone have really looked past Falkirk? I mean, they've spent a lot of money as well. They got their infrastructure, they got the cool stadium, they got the fan base as well. They just haven't done it on the pitch this season. They've actually finished 5th. Really, really disappointing. I know the fans aren't too happy with things over there at the moment. They are a massive club who probably deserve to be a lot higher up the pyramid. I know you only deserve to be where you are based on results, but yeah, they're a huge club who I predicted to do well this season. They haven't. They've done poorly. They're mid-table, but I thought they'd win it. Cove have won it. Airdrie run them close in the end. Finished, there's still, I think, 1 more game to play when I'm filming this. I'm currently 5 points behind. So they ran them pretty close, did Airdrie. They could still go up through the playoffs. I know my mate Dylan Easton plays for them. I saw them play this season. They're a really good team, well-run club, but in the end, Cove just a little bit too strong for them, and congratulations to Cove, who next season will be in the Championship. Of course, Cove, Kelty and Edinburgh City are the 3 teams that only been promoted through the Highland or Lowland new playoff system that's been in place since 2013. So to see Cove rise up through the division so much into the Championship, I have to commend them. Who cares if they've spent a load of money? I think Scottish football needs a bit of investment sometimes to shake it up and see a little bit more quality being brought into the league. So, yeah, fair play to Cove. Wish you all the best. Will we see you in the Prem next year? Who knows? Or in 2 years? Who knows? Yeah, just looking down the league as well, I really like Inverness, Cali Thistle, Arbroath and Partick Thistle just as clubs. I love Inverness because of how welcoming they've been to me when I've visited there before. Same with Arbroath. I've never been to Partick Thistle before. I've seen them away at Stenhousemuir just recently and met some of the fans, and they were unbelievable. Their support was amazing on the day, and yeah, they were all just so welcoming to me, the ones that saw me and said hello and stuff. So yeah, those 3 clubs in there I'd love to see do well, but yeah, remember it's only a 10 team division, so it's likely that a few of these teams that I like won't do that well. Obviously everyone can't go up as much as we'd love them to. This is football, there is always going to be winners and losers, but yeah, they are the 3 that I would love to see do well this year. Personally, out of the 3 though, I'd love to see Inverness and probably Partick go up. I think seeing them 2 in the Prem next season would be really exciting, but I do think that the ultimate winner of that division will be Kilmarnock this season. Well, hey, there's another one that I got right. Killy. Little did I know that when I was actually filming this 8 months ago, that I would actually end up not only getting the prediction for the Championship and League 2 right, but I'd actually be there on the trophy days, invited by the clubs for both games, and to actually be there and film those games for the clubs and to celebrate with the fans and to just take it all in. Unbelievable, especially given the last couple of years and the restrictions we've all faced. To chat about it then and then to come full circle now and have witnessed those hugely historic days is just unbelievable. But yeah, as I just said in that Championship section there, which you would have seen, I reeled off a couple of clubs that I really like and really respect in the Championship. One of which was Arbroath, who, yeah, no one would have expected to run Killy as close to the title as they did. I mean, they dropped a few silly points with a couple of draws, I feel like, Arbroath in recent months, which if they'd have just turned 1 or 2 of them into a win, the league could have been going to them. But obviously the playoffs are still there for them. I think everyone in Scotland would be gutted if they didn't go up after such an incredible season. But, I mean, what a job the Campbell brothers have done there. You don't need me to go into it again. I've covered it a lot in a few videos. But yeah, Championship section, I got right. Kilmarnock won the league. I feel like that was quite an easy one to predict, actually. I feel like they were always sort of going to be the strongest team in there. But before we jump into the Premiership and Cup predictions, what did you guys predict? Let's have a look at that, shall we? Yeah, a lot of people were tipping Aberdeen to do well. We've got a poll about Aberdeen coming up just very shortly, so just wait right there. Hibs finishing top at, like, towards the top of the league. A lot of people are predicting that as well. Rangers, Killy, Cove and Kelty Hearts. That isn't too far away from what I'm predicting. Rangers, Dunfermline, Alloa, Kelty Hearts as well, as a few Dunfermline fans that follow me, so hello to you, I hope you do well this season. Yeah, Cali Brave, someone voted for, and Dalbeattie Star, both in the Lowland League. Dalbeattie Star had a great start. Sorry about the pun there. Wick Academy for the Highland League. Yeah, who knows what a story that would be. Someone else here has written Rangers top, Aberdeen second and Celtic third, of which I said so many people have actually come on this, on the poll and on the questions and said that Aberdeen are not only going to have a great season, but also finish above Celtic. And I did a poll of which you can see on screen right now. The results are unbelievable, aren't they? What do you think? Do you think Aberdeen will finish above Celtic this season? The day that I'm filming this video is the day that Celtic are playing Ross County away. Just to give you a bit of context about sort of when I'm filming this and what's kind of happening in the Premiership right now. Celtic are looking very, very likely to win the league. However, it still is mathematically possible for Rangers to retain the title. And just as you would have seen there in that section when I was talking through from the last video some of your predictions, you'd have seen someone said Rangers, Kelty, Killy and Cove to win the league. Obviously they got the 3 in the Championship League 1 and League 2 completely correct, but it's just Rangers that they got wrong. And I don't feel like a lot of people were predicting Celtic to win the league this year. And you'll see my prediction in a minute. I certainly didn't think they'd do as well as this. Even Celtic fans, I think, can admit they didn't as well. But that prediction, how incredible. If Rangers do somehow turn it around in the next couple of weeks and win the league, they'd have got every single one right, which is fair play. I mean, congratulations on predicting them. But there's a few other predictions in there. Of course, Aberdeen, people were tipping them to do really well. Look how poor they've been this season. People are talking about relegation just a day or two ago. They lost against Livingston the other day as well. Absolutely mad how poor Aberdeen have been. I think people were expecting Hibs to do quite well as well this season. Again, I feel like there's been a few surprises in the Prem. But speaking of the Prem, moving on. I don't think you can look past Rangers for the league title. Rangers have just beaten Real Madrid. This is the day after Rangers have beaten Real Madrid. I think they'll look back on this fixture at the end of the season and see it as like a turning point or a huge learning curve for the team. Of course, it's probably there to simulate a European game, and if they're doing that against Real Madrid, I know it's pre-season and stuff like that, but you still want to win all your games, and still to beat Real Madrid as Rangers. That just shows how far Stevie has brought this team. Then you look at the same result from yesterday for Celtic, see how they got on in their game, and they lost 6-2 at home to West Ham. And yes, again, you can say it's a friendly and it doesn't count towards anything, which is correct, but still, to go into a season having lost 6-2 against West Ham and had some questionable results against Championship teams, whereas you see Rangers, beating Real Madrid, it is unbelievable. There's a feel-good factor at Rangers that isn't there at Celtic. It's obvious to see. There's been a lot of off-the-field controversies with Celtic that happened last season as well, and I feel like that really held them back. And they've kind of continued and trickled on into this season as well. Look at what's happening with Lee Griffiths, and look what happened with the manager debacle, trying to get someone else in like after Eddie Howe. Doesn't seem like Big Ange was their first choice. They've divvied with transfers as well. It doesn't look like they've brought anyone decent in to really kick off the season. And yeah, they drew it with Midtjylland as well. They've got that game coming up. That's going to be a huge game for them already this season. And do you know what? I cannot see many positive stories coming out of Celtic Park. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, I'm not sure. But like the poll suggested with Instagram, even a lot of my followers aren't tipping Celtic to do very well. So yeah, we'll see. The big season ahead for Celtic, but you cannot look past Rangers for the league. I mean, the lad who made his debut yesterday, Fashion Jr., what a great day for him to come and score against Real Madrid. Absolutely unbelievable. And the feel-good factor at Rangers must be there. And I don't just tip them to do well in the league, I also think they'll do well in Europe as well. You've just seen my Premiership predictions. I don't think too many people would have been too raging with my prediction now. I think everyone would have expected Rangers to win the league. Of course, the year before, they won it at an absolute canter, didn't they? They won it so easily. They'd wrapped it up by March and had to wait weeks and weeks to actually lift the trophy. So I think a lot of people would have expected Rangers to win the league. I don't think I was far off from what I said about Celtic in the fact that they had dilly-dallied over transfers and they dilly-dallied over their manager. But to be fair, I have to say that's completely worked in their favour now, hasn't it? I mean, look how well Ange's done. No one, I guarantee nobody out there, maybe one or two people, would have expected Big Ange to come in and do what he did. Hence why my prediction was as it was. No one maybe would have expected Stevie G to leave. Did a quite an explosive interview with Gary Neville just recently where he hinted that the board at Rangers didn't want to sort of back the growth of the team and financially and stuff like that. So he left and went to Villa. So that's the reason, I guess, that it sort of tipped on its head. So it got, I guess, lucky that Eddie Howe never went now. I don't know why it fell apart. Obviously, he was pictured at Celtic Park and it was this close by the sounds of things. They got Ange in and it's worked out so well for them, especially their Japanese revolution, which is extremely impressive as well. The Kyogos and the Maedas and the Hatates of the world. But yeah, Rangers, they changed manager. I don't think that helped mid-season. Although Gio's done well, to be fair, in recent weeks. A few good results, especially in the Cup. And especially in the Europa League as well. A lot of those games that I've seen this season as well. Outside of the league, Rangers have done better this season. Domestically, you have to take your hat off, if I had one on, to Celtic. They've done incredible. My prediction was wrong, but to all the Celtic fans out there, a massive congratulations on how the season's gone so far. There are still a few games left. Celtic could still throw it away. I personally can't see it happening. They've still got to play an Old Firm at Celtic Park as well. So Celtic, a huge congratulations on the season. Even if you don't win the league, you picked up the League Cup as well, but the league's heading to Parkhead, in my opinion. On to the Cups. The Cups last year were a bit of a weird one, weren't they? No one would have ever thought that St Johnstone would win a Cup double, but I'm sure it was a little bit bittersweet for them in that no fans could be there for such a historic, event. It's devastating. I'm a Liverpool fan and we missed out on the whole league thing. City had won it by the time all the lockdowns had ended and stuff like that. So for St Johnstone it must be the same sort of feeling. Yes, happy that you've got the trophies, but at the same time a bit bittersweet that you couldn't really celebrate it very much. But this year for the trophies, for the two big cups, the League Cup and the Scottish Cup,
got to give one to Rangers. I just feel like they have, with the young squad as well, with the Colts, if they can bring some of those players through to play in the Cups. I know Leon King has already, who I interviewed the other day at one of the Colts games. I know he played last season, and there's a picture of him hugging Stevie G and stuff. So, yeah, he's already got first team experience. So if they can bed some of those players in, the future's going to be so bright for Rangers. But if they can bed some of those in the Cups, I can see them doing really well and at least winning one of the Cups. And you've got to say that probably the other Cup, if Rangers win one, has got to go to Celtic. But, you know, even if they do have some issues off the pitch and they don't have the strongest squad on it, you'd still fancy them to pick up a trophy every season, wouldn't you? I know last season was a bit of an anomaly. They did win the Scottish Cup. That was kind of the one from the season before, you know, the one that they played at Christmas against Hearts. So a bit strange, but, you know, there is a huge winning culture at Celtic, of course there is. But outside of Celtic, from what I'm hearing from a lot of you, I think Aberdeen, if Celtic don't win something, I'd love to see Aberdeen pick up a trophy. Next up, everyone's favourite cup competition in Scotland, the Scottish Challenge Cup, the Scottish Johnston Paint Trophy. I think it's called the Tunnock's Wafer Cup sometimes, or I think this year it's the SPFL Trust Trophy, I believe. Usually there is a team or two from Wales and England and Ireland and stuff. I think Connors Key from Wales actually got to the final in one of the previous editions just recently. The last two editions of the Cup have been stop-start for obvious reasons. I think one of them was cancelled and one of them was just shared between Raith and Inverness. And then before that, Ross County won it. I think before that, Inverness won it. And maybe before that, Dundee United won it and Rangers, or maybe Dundee FC. There's been some big teams win it out of the last 4 editions that were played out in full and that weren't stopped due to bloody COVID or whatever. So yeah, I think this year it'd be nice to see like one of the smaller teams win it. I know the Colts teams are in it, so again, you probably can't look past Rangers and the quality they have. But yeah, I believe it's made up of, hang on, I've got it here. It is all Championship teams, League 1 teams, League 2 teams, 4 from the Highland, 4 from the Lowland, and a collection of Premiership under 21 teams as well, so the Colt teams. But yeah, do you know what? I want to see Kelty Hearts win League 2, and I want to see them win the SPFL Trust Trophy as well. Look at that, the winning culture of Kelty Hearts.
Right, so the Cups then, just finally, yeah, of course, you have to sort of back Celtic and Rangers in the Cups, don't you? Celtic did win a League Cup this season. Again, I was at that game, a massive honour to be there, and Rangers are currently yet to play the final. Of course, they're going to play Hearts in the final. They just beat Celtic in the semi at Hampden. So Rangers, I don't think they've won a League Cup or a Scottish Cup since their demotion down the leagues all those years ago. So it's something they really need to sort of put to rest. I know that Hearts will obviously want to spoil the party and stuff like that at Hampden, but in my eyes, Rangers are obviously favourites to win the Scottish Cup this season. So my prediction was that, you know, one or two of them, it would kind of be split between the two, which is the obvious thing to say. I also said that Aberdeen might win a cup. How wrong was I with that? So yeah, Celtic, Rangers, it's the obvious choice for the cups. But what about the big cup, the SPFL Trust Trophy? Raith Rovers won that, so yeah, it wasn't Kelty, sadly, didn't win the double. But yeah, absolutely love the boys over at Kelty, despite not winning the cup double. They were some of my predictions. How did your predictions go this season? Did the season pan out how you would have expected? It certainly did for me in sort of League 2 in the Championship. Not of Arbroath. It didn't really pan out the way I thought it would in the Prem. I thought Ross County would go down, I think I said. But yeah, St Johnstone and Dundee are the bottom two. Yeah, what do you guys think of the season? Do you think it's sort of gone as you would have thought? How about the Lowland League? What about the Highland League as well? Do remember to hit that like button. Please do subscribe if you're new. I'll leave some videos on screen. If you could click on one to carry on watching, that'd be highly appreciated. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.